What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and I am here today, you guys, with a brand new review for The Real Housewives of Miami, you guys. This is season 7, episode number 8, and the episode was titled Dueling Yachts, you guys. Now, before I do get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, you guys subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode of The Real Housewives of Miami, shall we? Excuse me, y'all. Now, before I do get into it, if you guys watch this episode, I definitely want you guys to tell me what you thought about it in the comment section or in the live chat, you guys. This episode, it was okay. Wasn't a bad episode. What I will say is some of the ladies got on my nerves. One in particular, and we'll get in. Is it one or is it? It's two. It's a few of them that got on my nerves. But I'll get to them as we get to them. So, let me get to my notes real quick, you guys, and then we will get this party started. Now, I don't expect to be on here super duper long. Also, you guys, let me get this on the screen as well. Do I have the thumbnail for us? Well, I don't have the thumbnail for the panel, but today is the panel. I don't know what time we're going live, but I do know that we're going live. We're supposed to be going live on Really B's channel tonight. So be sure to check us out there. And that's all we got for like the announcements of everything. All right, you guys. So the episode, who do I want to start up with? Because like nobody's individual scene was like really a whole lot to take home. Actually, let's start up with the one that I didn't really pay a whole hell of a lot of attention to, and that'd be Alexia. So, like I've said numerous times when it comes to Alexia, I am sick of Alexia and her storyline because the whole tide of it all, I'm just exhausted with it. It's just like, okay, Alexia, I want you to figure out what you want to do when it comes to this whole stuff with Todd. Like, the man filed for divorce from you. Are you like, and currently they are divorced, but they still, it seems like they still in the same position that they were in when they filmed this show last year. And it's like, girl, are you that desperate for a man? Now, we also found out in this episode that Alexia and Frankie, they're living in a rental property after this whole, situation with Todd. And I was like, okay, not that I really gave a damn, but cool. So we see Peter. So Peter came by, Alexia was having a conversation with Peter. Now, is it me or is it me? Now, I'm not going to say Peter was high because he didn't look high, but him talking, the way he was talking, it was so slow. And I was just like, wow, he is talking extremely slow. But again, I ain't saying that the brother was high. I'm just asking, did he sound like he was talking slow to you guys, right? So we also found out that so Frankie at one point, he got sick. So Frankie was throwing up and they took him to the hospital, right? So they found out that he had some kind of I don't know what you would call it, but they found out there's something else that he has, right? And the only way to, to combat it, excuse me, is with proper diet. So that's really all we got with Alexia. I did feel bad for them when she broke, which I didn't really see a tear, but I'm not saying that she wasn't crying, but I just didn't see a tear come out of her eyes when she was talking about, Frankie and, his accident and all that kind of stuff. Again, hear me loud, hear me clear. I'm not saying that Alexia was lying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying she was lying. I'm not saying she was faking it. I'm just saying that I didn't see a tear, but I do know that has to be, very traumatic to have to anytime that they probably would have to take Frankie to the hospital. I would probably be on pins and needles myself. So that's really all we got with Alexia. Let's go ahead and get this person out the way because I really don't want to talk about her even though she's gonna come back up later in the episode. But let's get Julia out of the way. Oh my God, today, you guys, when it comes to Julia, Julia is going to be an irritant to me. And I know a lot of people either got in my comments last week, either under my video or under the panel video. And a lot of people expressed their feelings when it came to Gertie and Gertie releasing the text messages. So there are a lot of people who thought that, didn't agree with what Gertie did as far as the text messages go, right? Now, for me personally, y'all know I didn't have a problem with it. Still to this day, don't have a problem with Gertie doing what she did. I think Gertie was well within her right to release those text messages. Because here's what I will say is, even depending on how you feel, right? Just think about it this way. If you feel that Gertie was wrong for releasing the text messages, what I then will ask you is, what other opportunity would she have? Because you don't want her to ruin somebody else's event, right? So what better way to get your point across than to do it at your own event? And I think Gertie was on Watch What Happens Live last week, right? So Gertie said on the Watch What Happens Live that, she did her thing, for cancer. And then afterwards, it was her after party. And that is when she ended up doing the whole text message reveal. And like I said before, you guys, I'm still not upset with what Gertie did. Like, I don't have a problem with it. I honestly don't. But again, I know a lot of people felt like it was, cringy. It was the wrong time. I definitely get where you guys are coming from, and I definitely hear you guys. But for me personally, I'm just not upset about it. I promise you guys, I'm cool with it. Especially after this episode. Because this episode, the girls tried it. And, like I said, we will definitely get into it once we get there. But I feel like the girls tried it with Gertie in this episode. So Julia and Martina, they're discussing it, right? And once again, Julia is making herself out to be the victim. So then Julia also talks about the fact that, when it comes down to it, Adriana was telling her that she should go back and tell her, basically tell her side of it, and also the whole thing of Martina and Julia don't feel that Julia should do anything. And I'm like, that's weird to me. That's weird to me. Because they said there's no hashing things out. So we also found out that Julia went back into the party, right? And she asked Gertie, why did she do that? And so Gertie then brought up the conversation that they had when they went out to dinner with each other. That's Gertie's whole thing, is like, you and I, we sat down with each other. We had a conversation with each other. We agreed that the conversation that we're having, we're not going to bring it back to the girls, but then you go and take it back to the girls in front of that dude when Alexia had that narcissist party. So I'm absolutely on Gertie's side. And like I said a few minutes ago, when it comes down to Gertie, you guys, the reason that I'm on Gertie's side is I wouldn't want Gertie to do this at anybody else's event. I would much rather and prefer for her to do it at her own event. And like she said, it was her after party. So it's not necessarily like she did it. It's not necessarily like she did it at a business. Like, I'll give you guys, because it's come up quite a few times. It's not like she did it like what Kenya did to Britt at her own event. Excuse me, y'all. Was this something that maybe she could have kept to herself and, found a better opportunity to present it to the girls, she could have. But again, I am pissed off at. I'm not mad at Gertie. I don't feel no type of way. I feel like Gertie did what she thought was best for her, and what was best for her was airing Julia out in that particular moment. And that's all I got for that. But I definitely want you guys to tell me what you think and what you feel in the comments, you guys, and in the live chat. Again, everybody's, you guys are welcome to tell me how you feel. I won't be upset if you guys disagree with me. That is fine. I respect different opinions. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the next person. I'm gonna go ahead and get this person out of the way, and that is none other than Stephanie. Now, you guys know Stephanie is not my favorite person on this cast, but we do see Stephanie. So Stephanie and Larsa, they are at her home, right? Well, technically, this is Masood's house. This is the house that Masood and his ex-wife had together. And I was like, okay, that's a little weird. Now, I ain't been on social media, so I don't know what people are saying. But I would bring up another show, but I don't want to bring up another show. But y'all drug a certain wife on another show on Bravo for moving into the ex-wife's home that she shared with the now current husband. But hey, it is what it is, because y'all definitely drugged the girl. What up, Kiwan? How are you doing today? Yeah, y'all definitely drugged that particular girl for moving into the house that the ex-wife and the now current husband / ex-husband of the ex-wife moved into. Y'all drug her for 2 seasons. Y'all drugged that girl. But then with Stephanie is literally talking about the same thing that y'all drugged that other girl for, right? Oh, I'm having what is it? Is today Thursday? Yeah, it's Thursday. I'm having a good Thursday, ready for Friday, start the weekend, even though I ain't got no plans. But yeah, other than that, I'm good. So Stephanie, now what I will say, Stephanie, the one you made one comment in this episode, in this scene, that I was like, Stephanie, that's not a good comment to make. So I guess the ex-wife of Masood is Persian, right? So Stephanie said that the house was so Persian that she thought a genie was gonna come out. I was like, "Ooh, that is a statement that our production should have told you don't utter that. Don't say like, girl. Nobody told you that's culturally insensitive." But okay, you said it, not me. Those are Stephanie's words. Now, what I am here for is kind of what I said about that other girl who moved into the house of the ex-wife. Why not just like renovate the house? Do what Stephanie do. Renovate that house. Get rid of every fucking thing that is hers. Make it your own house, right? Which I think that the girl did try to make it her own house, but it's, everybody just harped on the fact that, girl, you moved into such and such's house. I'm not going to say the person's name, but if you guys, watch Bravo shows, you guys know what I'm talking about. But neither here nor there. So Stephanie and Larsa, they talked about what happened the night before, right? So Stephanie feels like she got everything off of her chest. And I was like, I would agree. But what I didn't like I said before, I think I said this last week, that I didn't necessarily like the fact that when when the girls left out, Stephanie was with them, but then she decided that she wanted to go back in and get Gertie's side of what happened. I would have stayed inside and got Gertie's side of what happened, and then I would have went outside and potentially checked on Julia. That's just me personally. So then Stephanie asks, does Alexia typically come for people like that? Now, although Alexia is not my favorite person, Stephanie, you were poking at Alexia. We got to call a spade and be real about it. You were coming for Alexia. Alexia really didn't say much to you. The only thing that Alexia said to you was the fact of you kissing Gertie's ass. That's all that Alexia said to you. And then you want to go as far as to mention Todd. And it's like, what does Todd have to do with this? Like, you are talking about things in her life that you don't know anything about. So you're inserting yourself where your opinion is not wanted, warranted, or needed. And that's how I feel about you, Stephanie, when it comes down to that. I feel like Alexia was within her right to tell you, how she felt, especially when you're talking about some shit that you don't know a thing about. Just my little 2 cents. So then even Larsa had to tell her, like, you did bring up Todd. And I was like, thank you, Larsa. That is something that we can actually agree on. Because y'all know I typically don't agree with Larsa on anything. I typically don't agree with Larsa on a damn thing. But in this particular moment, I couldn't argue with Larsa about that because Stephanie, you did bring up Todd. So what are we talking about here, beloved? So then they talked about they're gonna have a yacht day, right? Now they planned Kiki and Larsa had planned this yacht day, but they had planned it before Gertie's event. So then after Gertie's event, they had to be like, okay, you know what? Bump that. We can't have, all the girls on the same yacht together. And I was like, okay, I understand that, right? So we see Larsa and Kiki as they were trying to figure out like who can be on what yacht with who, right? So I think they ultimately, because Larsa didn't want to be on a yacht with Adriana, and neither did Marisol. Now with Larsa, I'm not really understanding why you don't want to be on a yacht with Adriana, because so far this season, you and Adriana have not gotten into it with each other. So I was confused about that. So they were going to put Marisol on a yacht with Adriana. So they called up Marisol, and Marisol was like, she didn't want to be on a yacht with Adriana. So the people who are going to be on the yacht together is Kiki, Lisa, Adriana, and I think that was and Gertie. I think those four were going to be on the yacht together. And then on the other yacht, it is Marisol, Alexia, Larsa, and Stephanie. I think that's correct. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was the order. Did I leave Lisa out? So let me try this again. It was Lisa, Adriana, Kiki. Yeah, I think either way it go, they're split up. That's neither here nor there. They're split up. That's all I can tell you guys is the girls are split up on the damn yacht. Now, if I got the order wrong, oh well, just charge it to my head because I forgot and I didn't put it down in my notes. So I think we've gotten to everybody because I've talked about Alexia. No, we got one more person to talk about, and then we can get to the whole yacht of it all. So Gertie. Now I was so happy to see this scene with Gertie because you guys know how I feel about Dr. Nicole. You guys know that I love Dr. Nicole. I wish she was able to be on this season, but I'm hopeful that the door is still open for Dr. Nicole to make her return in season 8. So we see as Gertie is having lunch with Dr. Nicole, who came in looking like $1 million. Baby, she came in there with her Birkin bag. That Birkin bag, my God, today, the cost of that Birkin bag was $96,600. I was like, my God, today. That bag is almost $100,000. And then she has some heels to match the Birkin bag. I said, my God, today, Dr. Nicole, you want to adopt a 30 something year old, you want to adopt anybody? Do you want to adopt anybody? Like, take me in, Dr. Nicole. Take me in, Dr. Nicole, girl. Because that Birkin, $100,000. Speaking of Dr. Nicole, let me talk about this really quick. Because I sent this in the group chat on that we have for the panel. So Dr. Nicole literally just sold her home in Miami, and she sold her home for. So it says here, Nicole Martin sells her Miami mansion to Robbie Williams for $14 million. $40 million. Oh my God. Mm, mm, mm. Do you hear 40 million? Do you guys know what I could do with $40 million? Bitch, I could retire from work. I could retire and live the rest of my life in peace and with the most lavish lifestyle. I really wouldn't have a lavish lifestyle, but I would retire. I would retire from this job that I have. Like, oh my God, $40 million. Jesus, Jesus, if you're hearing me, let me make it big. Let me make it big, Jesus, to be able to say I can afford a $40 million house. Oh, just give me, you know what, Lord, I could, I could just take even a million of that. A good meal of 40, you guys hear me, $40 million. Whoo. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, we was here for the Dr. Nicole of it. I just give me five of right? Hell, I'll take a million of it. I'll just take a 1 million will do me fine. 1 million would do me. Lord, if you're hearing me, I know you're hearing me, and you know the things that I want to do in my life. Just make a way for me, Heavenly Father. I pray to you. In Jesus' name I say, Amen. All right, you guys. So yeah, God damn it. Shake that money down, Lord. Right? Shake it, shake it, shake it. So back to the episode. So they were talking, right? Now we found out that when it comes down to when we found out so you guys remember, I think I've said this numerous times on the channel that Anthony and Stephanie dated in the past, right? Now we found out that they dated 20 years ago. I was like, oh, that's been a long ass time. So Nicole also talked about her daughter. When we saw a picture of her daughter, she's so cute. So her daughter actually looks like her father. I was like, oh wow. So you'll always have a reminder of your dad because your her daughter looked just like her dad. So they FaceTime Stephanie because Gertie thinks that they feel like they will get along with each other. And so they FaceTimed her, and her and Dr. Nicole, they hit it off with each other. Now, what I also did find out was that after this scene, they actually met up with Stephanie. I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. So then they started talking about this whole situation with the girls because Dr. Nicole felt like, when she found out that Stephanie was hanging around this group of girls, that she didn't feel like Stephanie and Alexia would necessarily get along because looking at Stephanie, she doesn't feel like Stephanie's the type that would just bow down and kiss Alexia's ass. And I was like, you got that right. Because although I do feel like Stephanie is doing the most when it comes to Alexia, I don't see Stephanie as the kiss ass type, right? I will be honest about that. I don't see her as that type. And again, I'm not the biggest fan of Stephanie. So they also talked about, they talked about what happened with Julia and Gertie, right? And we also found out from Dr. Nicole, because I guess, Gertie has been giving her, which I'm not surprised that she has, but it sounds like Gertie has been giving Dr. Nicole the rundown of what's been going on. And we also found out that Dr. Nicole told Gertie, when she mentioned the whole Julia having the facelift thing, that was something that she probably wouldn't have done to Julia. And I was like, really? But what I will say is I like that Dr. Nicole said, that's what real friends do. Even if I don't agree with something that you did, I still will tell you, hey, I necessarily wouldn't have done that. And I can respect that because that's the type of friend that I am, and that's the type of friend that I would want in return. So Gertie asked her, like, what would it take to get you to come back to the group? And so Dr. Nicole said, TBD. I said, come on, Dr. Nicole. Yes, TBD. Come on, Dr. Nicole. Dr. Nicole, we need you back for season 8. We need you back for season 8, my girl. If y'all can't tell that I love Dr. Nicole, I love Nicole. Come on back home to us, Nicole. We need you. We need you. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, Dr. Nicole literally said the same exact thing that I've been saying these last 8 episodes about Julia. Julia is that girl in high school that was part of the outside clique. And now that she's friends with the quote unquote cool girls, or the popular girls, now she kind of turns her back on her friends because they were talking about the fact that she hasn't hung out with Adriana. So yeah, and I've said that this whole entire for these last 8 episodes, that's the vibe that I get from Julia, is that Julia is now part of the cool clique, and so now she has alienated herself and ostracized her friends. uh Kiwan says Julia's a pick me. Yeah, we absolutely do need Dr. Nicole back. So yeah, you guys, that was it with Dr. Nicole and Gertie. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the episode with this yacht. Y'all, I couldn't tell you, I'm so sorry, but I cracked up laughing. I know some of y'all don't like Adriana, but Adriana was funny as hell to me. But before we get to that, we found out when we got to the yacht that Stephanie's not going to be staying with them, that she's going to be going to Canada with Masood. And we also found out that Lisa invited her friend, who her name is Ebony. And I was like, oh, Ebony is a cutie. So Ebony knows Lisa, she knows Gertie, and she knows Kiki. I was like, okay, we got 3 Black women. Come on. Now, Bravo, I would love it if y'all did reach out to, I would like to know a little bit more about Ebony. So maybe invite Ebony as a friend of next season. Because I know a lot of people keep saying that this cast needs a shakeup. I honestly don't think that the Miami cast needs a shakeup. I don't. My personal opinion. Now, can we do without a few people? Yeah. I know a lot of people say that they want Gertie and Julia gone, right? And I can honestly see why people say Gertie and Julia. I do. But I'm okay with Gertie. Julia, maybe demote Julia and, demote Julia and give Adriana her mojito back, because Adriana does a great job as a friend of. Now I don't know if Adriana likes being a friend of. I don't know what it is with Adriana and her being a friend of, because Adriana gives main housewife energy, which in the original seasons of Miami she was a mojito holder. Kiwan says Gertie needs to be a friend. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I will say that. I don't disagree. So yeah, upgrade one of up. You could even upgrade Marisol. And y'all know I'm not a Marisol fan, but I wouldn't even be upset if they upgraded Marisol. But don't upgrade her before you upgrade Adriana, because Adriana deserves her flute. Why do I keep saying flute? That is Potomac, her mojito glass. Now, after that, Marisol, what I will say is Marisol and Julia were both irksome to me when they were on the boat, because Julia is going on about the things that Gertie did. And I'm like, but ma'am, you elicit that response that she gave you was a reaction to what you did to her. Everything that Gertie has done to you has been a reaction to things that you have done. Anything that she said to you after you threw the water, it was a response to you throwing the water. Then you guys went to lunch and made up with each other. And you guys agreed that you guys would not bring it up in front of the group. But then you went and brought it up in front of the group at Alexia's narcissist party. So go to hell, Julia. Then Marisol is talking about Adriana. And it's like, from what I've saw in these 8 episodes, Adriana hasn't really come at Marisol nearly as hard as Adriana normally comes at Marisol. So I don't honestly understand Marisol and her issues. So then on the other guy, Kiki done told Adriana how Marisol feels. When I tell you I cracked up when she called her bony ass that she needs this and she needs that. Mind you, Adriana, I don't know how many drinks she was on, but Adriana was laying in to Marisol, and I found this shit funny. She stayed on her fucking neck. She stayed on her fucking neck. And I was here for it, right? Now, with the two boats, what they're going to do is they're going to sell out separately, but they're going to put the two boats together and they're going to be staying there for the weekend, right? So when they put the boats together, Kiki and Adriana were on the top of the boat and they were talking across and you could see Marisol's face was just upset. And Adriana was just fucking with her. And I was like, this is hilarious to me. Kiki was messy AF. I mean, she was, but I'm not mad at it. I really ain't. Because I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. So at one point, they played with the water. They had played with some water guns, but Marisol got so upset. And I was like, Marisol, the only reason why you're upset is because it's Adriana who's wetting you up. If you were cool with Adriana, you would not be upset, just upset. Also, something that I will say, and it's a nice compliment. We saw Lars's BBL. It wasn't what I expected. And it honestly looked proportionate to her body. I was like, oh, that's a nice BBL. Yes, I can say something nice about Larsa. That was a nice BBL. So then at one point we see Julia and Adriana. They talked, right? So Julia wants to question Adriana about why she didn't leave with her at Gertie's event. So Adriana's whole thing is she said that she wanted to mediate. And so Julie said, but she was wrong for what she did. And Adriana said, I don't disagree with you. Like she was wrong. And I don't agree with what she did. Right? Her BBL looks really good. I don't know who did it, but it looks good. It looks good. Now that face, oh God, this isn't mean to say about Larsa, but her face, ma'am, you do not look like the person that you were season 1 of the Real Housewives of Miami. So for you to say, let me shut up. Let me move on. So Adriana then asked Julia, well, when Marisol and Alexia called me a liar at the reunion, she said New York, but we know she means a reunion. She's like, why come you didn't defend me? And so Julia was like, because you guys were friends for years and I just wanted to hear them out. I was like, huh? That was you. So that means to me that you were already plotting to get back in the good graces of Alexia and Marisol at that point. Julia, I see you for who you are. So the ladies then got ready for dinner. And so Lisa decides that she wants to break the ice, with the girls who have issues with each other, right? So she wanted Adriana to say something nice about Marisol and Marisol to say something nice about Adriana. Adriana immediately said something nice about Marisol. It took Marisol a good few minutes to say something nice about her. I'm like, ugh, but whatever. So then she wants Gertie and Julia to go. So Gertie went and she said something very nice about Julia. But then Julia, she started to go, but then she had to stop herself. She's like, I'm a bad actress and all this kind of stuff. I said, you definitely are a bad actress. So she wants to bring up what happened at Gertie's event, right? And I was like, but ma'am, again, I'm gonna repeat it for the third time. I think I said it 3 times already now, right? Or fourth. But ma'am, the reason why Gertie did that is because, again, you and Gertie had agreed that you guys were not going to bring your issues to the group. But instead, you brought your issues to the fucking group. So she felt the way, and Gertie said that. She said she felt the way. And, Julia says that, well, I brought it up in front of Daniel because Daniel was there to help us. And so Gertie's like, well, you know what? I interpreted it wrong, right? So Alexia decides to chime in. So Alexia says, well, why did you do it? She's like, because nobody here thinks it was okay. And I would have been like, okay, I don't give a damn what y'all think. It was my event. It was the after party. I can do whatever the hell I want to do, right? So Gertie said that, how does that affect you, Alexia? And I was like, absolutely. How does this affect you, Alexia? She's like, well, I know I'm not going to share any text messages with you. Okay. And so then Gertie says, well, I'm not apologizing. Like, who do I owe an apology to? So she did turn to Julia and she said, Julia, if you do still, have harbor any feelings toward it, you and I can sit down and we can have a private conversation. And Julia agreed to that. And that's where the night ended. So the next morning, we see the girls as they're getting up for breakfast. So Larsa called Stephanie, right? And they're giving Stephanie the rundown. And even though I don't 100% see it for Stephanie, in this particular moment, I have to defend Stephanie because at one point in the episode, which I forgot to mention, her and Alexia were talking. Alexia called her a chihuahua, and Stephanie called her something else. But Alexia was like, "Well, I'm a Rottweiler." So when they were talking, she asked, "Did the Rottweiler get into it with anybody last night?" Now, I don't think she knew that Alexia was right there beside Larsa because when Larsa turned the camera and she saw her face dropped. And Alexia is in her feelings because she called her a Rottweiler. I'm like, but Alexia, you referred to yourself as a Rottweiler because she called herself a wolf and you called yourself a lion. So Alexia, it wasn't that deep. She was being facetious. She was being funny. It wasn't nothing to take that detrimental or serious. But yeah, you guys, that's the episode for the Real Housewives of Miami. Let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comments section below. Please subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, you guys, and also share the video. And until the next time, you guys, stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys when we do the panel tonight. And again, the panel is on Really B's channel. Again, I don't know what time the panel is, so once I have the link, I will share it with you guys. I'll share the link with you guys, and then I'll see you there. But like I said, you guys, as always, stay safe. Take care of yourself. Wash your hands. Be blessed. Share the video, like the video, and leave your comments. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.